when to say yes and when to say no. You know, it's an area that we often get conflicting advice on. I have a few little distinctions here that hopefully will help. One of the things to remember in this busy world, there's always going to be trade-offs. And by trade-offs, I mean there are things we're saying yes to, and by default, things we're saying no to. It's like the opportunity cost. So it's relevant from an organizational skills point of view. It's relevant from a work-life balance point of view. You know, I often think if I'm saying yes to staying late and working until 7 o'clock at night, what am I saying no to? Maybe having dinner at home. So there's no rights or wrongs here, but it's always about having those trade-offs in our own consciousness. So often we will be in the habit of just saying yes to every request that comes in, and maybe by default then I'm saying no to some of my own higher priorities, or maybe saying no to my own well-being. You know, only recently I've had to put a few days off into my diary, because if I don't do that proactively, other things will fill the vacuum. So I'm saying yes to my own well-being or a little bit of downtime, and therefore I'm having to say no to some client requests. There's two little phrases, two little pieces of language that I think always helps us out when we're looking to say no, or just to push back a little, because let's face it, it's not about saying no and being rude or aggressive. It's about saying no in the politest way possible. For me, a phrase that works is, and it might be a bit American sounding, but the phrase is, that doesn't really work for me. So it's a very polite way of saying no, and it keeps the conversation going maybe into other alternatives. The other option to saying a straightforward no is yes, but. You know, so it might be, yes, I can do that, but it won't be until next week, as opposed to straight away and immediately. So as I say, in this area between yes and no, there's shades of grey, many of them, but sometimes we just need to have that level of consciousness to be clear as to what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to.